Hey, Rudy Rodriguez here, and welcome to today's episode. We have a very special guest on with us today, Miss Tiffany Cano. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your energy, love what you bring to today's show already. And I wanted to introduce you briefly to our audience in case they haven't met you yet. First and foremost, what's really cool about Tiffany is that she has been paid to coach and heal people since the age of 8 years old. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting her and working with her directly. We met at an Allison Armstrong event many years ago, and I was so blown away by just her energetics and her ability to heal people energetically in a way that at the time, quite honestly, didn't understand, but I just knew that it worked. Also, some of Tiffany's accolades is she's been in the event space doing events and getting clients for over 20 years. And some of her clients are some A-list people, such as Allison Armstrong herself. So, Tiffany, what you do clearly works. You're clearly skilled. You are an entrepreneur at heart from a young age. We're really excited to have you on the show here, sharing with us on a really interesting show topic on how to create successful energetics at the event. So, welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure. This talking about energetics is one of my favorite topics because to me, everything is energy. And my particular tribe and community are empathic, spiritual, intuitive souls who are the movers and shakers and want that personal and professional and spiritual growth and development. So the energetics are probably the most important thing because that's what attracts them into all of my work. If the energetics aren't aligned, then people don't show. So I would love to share some tips and insights as to what I've done over the years that has really created such a warm, inviting, safe space for people to dive deep within themselves for tremendous healing, transformation, and growth.
Awesome. Yeah, excited to hear that. And one of the things I want to highlight that you touched on is idea of creating a safe place for people. And I think you and I both know that that's one of the most fundamental things when it comes to events is people feeling like they can put themselves out there and feel safe and be able to do things that they may not normally do in other situations because of that container. So really excited to hear what you have to share.
Thank you. And my particular genres in the transformation industry. Now, if someone's doing a seminar on accounting, feeling safe isn't needed per se. It's not woven into the structure, but for healing and having people be vulnerable enough to dive into their subconscious to see and heal their blind spots and things that are blocking their finances, their health, their loving relationships, their spiritual connections. There has to be a really profound sense of safety within them and around them. And safety is an inside job. Yes, we can choose and decide to feel and be safe, and I think it's important for people who are in that personal, professional development space for us to hold that container of love and warmth and welcoming and safety so that it's easy for people to want to do the shadow work. you know? I think it's fun personally, but not everybody does. It can be scary to some people. But if we're being that energy of it's fun, it's safe, it's easy, let's play, let's do it, then that's who's going to show up. People won't even register if the energetics aren't aligned from the beginning, or at least the registration is on the poor side from what I've witnessed personally. I'm not sure in the events that you have helped with over the years what your take is on that, but I've definitely seen that from my end.
Yeah, it makes sense. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, starting with the qualities that the students themselves need to be in order to even be attracted to an event. What qualities, such as, are they open? Are they receptive? Are they willing to be vulnerable? Are they actively investing time, money, energy, resources in their growth? And if they're not, they're probably not going to be attracted, because it is in my intention list. That's who my students are. If they're not ready yet, then oftentimes they'll have an attraction, but they won't register yet until they grow into that space. That frankly, I'm a demand that there's certain qualities that they must be for me to even have this space to work with them. And I mean that in a loving way. And then there's qualities that they grow into, right? And then I also look at the qualities and attributes and skill sets that my team and I need to be for a particular event. And it does depend on the promise of the event, what activities that I might want to do, what topics that I want to teach. Because everybody's got their own magic, their own blessings, their own skill set. So knowing those strengths ahead of time when you're trying to build the team, I think is important. And not only that, but presencing and represencing the energetics and qualities at the beginning of every team meeting before we even set up for class, if it's an in-person workshop, when we're on breaks, at the end of the day, team huddle, at the next morning, team huddle, right? It's like, how are we embodying the qualities with which will make for a fun, invigorating, successful, safe environment for people to just skyrocket? And so I create an actual intentions list. I create a qualities list for the students, for my team, for myself. I also make sure that the event that I'm going to hold it at, if it's in person, that from a feng shui perspective, I'm teaching either north or east. So if it's a topic where I want to help people be more successful, to manifest good things in life, I want to face north. If it's more of the spiritual healing nature, then I want to face east, so that those qualities and energies can pour into me. So, north facing, there's a lot more prosperity and abundance energy. East facing, there's a lot more spiritual energies and blessings that pour in. Okay. So, there's the physical energetics of the space. And also, like, within the registration itself, like creating more connection, more safety. And what that looks like is a welcoming video and a drip email campaign with audio, healing audios, videos, articles, things that will have them connect with me, get to know me, build rapport with me before class ever even starts. And ideally, even doing one or more live Zooms before we meet so that there's that connection and rapport building. And I think it's important to also have them connect with each other. So in that pre-event Zoom, like putting them into breakout rooms with a list of questions that will have them get to know each other as people, not as what do you do, but actually deeper questions. What are your passions in life? If fear wasn't in the equation, what would you be doing right now? A funny one. If you could be any animal in the world, what would you be and why? If you could travel to any place in the world, where would you go and who would you take? Give them a chance to build connection and safety and camaraderie with people before the event ever even starts. And I think that those are a few key tips, like before the event.
Very cool. Yeah, those are all really great ways to set the container ahead of the event. I like how you send out the videos and the content and all the things that they can connect with you beforehand to build that relationship. That's really cool. I love how you set that intention as well for who your demand that shows up to your event and how you feng shui it. I think you said north typically means success and more spiritual healing is more east. That was a little bit of a note that I took there too. That was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, these may not sound important, but they are for at least people in my community who are sensitive, who are empathic, who are intuitive. There's a subliminal energetic that comes with every person's thought, with the energy of a space, whether they consciously recognize it or not. And so when we can embody and energies, the solutions to the problems and complaints and upsets that they're having in their life. And we're being that answer, we're being that healing, we're being that ability for them to transform and transmute it. Then we're congruent, we're aligned, and they'll be attracted to that. And so I am that not only me, but my team are that. Like we are being that before, during, and shortly after the event. And then it creates a vacuum. It creates an opening, an invitation for them to step up, to feel safe, to spend 10, 15, or $20,000 to play with me for the next year, or buy a $10,000 healing package. They will be a yes to that because they've felt held the entire time. So there's like this energy of love, like a tangible, visceral, physical presence of love that I am, and I am that they are and feel that within them and around them the whole time, before, during, even after. Because I love God in them, and I want to help them to awaken at higher and higher levels for them, what that is. We can have a workshop be about success or be about healing, and at a deeper level also still hold space for me. What is important is that they connect to their soul, they connect to the divine in whatever way is a fit for them. And just being that openness, being space for that kind of growth, because then it's going to help them with every area of their life, right?
Yeah, definitely. What stood out to me, what you said is so much, but like being the energy, the energetics of love, actually being that with people. And you mentioned love God in them. I thought that was pretty cool. And how that when you're being that way, it creates a vacuum for them to step up, feel safe to go ahead and join you for a 10, 15, 20K coaching package or 10K healing package. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah. And I was thinking that it might be helpful for me to share a few other bullet points on what I am that my participants think, feel, and know.
Yeah,
Would you
please.
like me to share a few more things? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So they have received tremendous value in the 3 days, 2 days, however long, right? Whatever duration of time the event is. So much so that they register for fill in the blank, whatever your offer is at the event. They, f- they think, feel, and know that they're super safe and held by me, the team, all the other participants in the space, and by God. They're more present and available inside their body. They feel loved, seen, heard, understood, especially by me and the team. They're deeply connected amongst their tribe and community, and they yearn to spend more time with us throughout the next level of whatever it is you're offering, right? They're astonished with the miraculous healing they receive and are excited to explore even deeper healing throughout the year-long program. They feel more inner peace, stillness, and quiet than they ever have up until now. And they have the tools to continually cause that. They have more access to their intuition and trust, more openness to God and divine communion, more awareness of all of their spaces, and have a newfound capacity to clean and expand all of their spaces. And that part is actually more pertinent to my work because I do a lot of space holding and boundary work. But they yearn to continue learning, growing, healing, receiving insights, and being held by God through me. They're open and receptive to the cameras and don't even notice them. In fact, they even like that this course is being filmed. I'm going to pause for a second. I put that in specifically because some of my sensitive folks in the past did not like that I film or audio record everything that I do. And so I learned that I needed to be even more clear when they register. I put in the disclaimer about this will be filmed. There's a sign on the door about this will be filmed, and then added it into my intention so that people can really soften into that, lean into it, and feel safe, even though there may be cameras in the room. So, continuing on, like they enthusiastically refer many new clients and students to me for healing in future programs. They're happy that there's a next step and are easily enrolled and registered into coaching and or healing packages or programs. They're present, on time to class, and return from all breaks and participate fully and complete all modules. They actively pull the course into themselves and into their lives. They love the friendship and comfort they feel amongst each other and with me. They're standing more in their power and owning who they really are. And they know that this is just the beginning of even deeper willingness to stand in their power and what they will get in my fill in the blank next program. They'll have amazing breakthroughs in their prosperity by taking the leaps of faith and paying in full. And those who choose to do the payment plan pay upon the agreed amount every month. They easily honor their promises. So, sidebar, I had to add that in because when I wasn't as clear, sometimes people would freak out that they've got this big payment and decide to not complete the program. So, when I got clear that they honor their agreements and they follow through, then magically there was congruency in that department. I do have more, but I wanted to check, like, are these good intentions helpful for you and your peeps? Do you want me to keep going or?
Yeah, I think this is really gold. And like the thing that's jumped to my mind, I'm taking notes as furiously as I can. I'm like, would you be willing to share this with our audience? Like, is there a file that we can put in the show notes or anything of the sort?
I'm trying to think of if I could create something that's a little more generic because some of these things are specific to my program. Let me feel into that and get back to you.
Yeah,
But
sounds
they
good.
can
This
check.
is, yeah,
Yeah, they can check the show notes for a link in the future. Um,
yes,
and
sounds
they
good.
can
Yeah,
definitely they can also reach out to me at tiffany15.com to get a 15-minute call with me, and I can help them get more clear on their event and what energetics and intentions that are missing for them or need to be strengthened or polished or refined. So that's another way that we can play.
Perfect. I think that's a good, I know you got a lot to share. That might be a good transition point here because you have so much to give. And my takeaway here so far is how powerful it is to have a clear intention for your event as a leader, as the host, from who you're attracting to how they're showing up and how they're experiencing your event to how happily they're paying their program in full and honoring their agreements all the way through. I'm just blown away by your level of intent that you're setting. And I'm like I said, taking notes furiously because this is valuable. Great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for making yourself available to our audience to connect with you.
You're welcome. There's just one more nugget that I want to throw in before we transition, and that's all logistics for the course are seamless. Everything that needs to be handled is done with ease and impeccability. Participants even remark about how seamless and impeccable and flawless the course went.
I love it. Thank
As
you.
we know, live events can have their own challenges because they're live. I like it. I just like being in the flow with live. I think it actually brings out the most in me. Like I can sit there and have a 10 to 15 bullet points and teach a 3-day workshop. I have well over 50 days of workshops that I could teach like back to back right now
Incredible.
without even needing to offer very many notes for myself.
Yeah, I can see that. That's really cool. I do have a quick question for you. And I'm going through this, I'm asking, but what if someone's in the room as a leader and they feel like the energetics are off? They feel like the energetics aren't where they need to be and they're aware of it, but like, how do you manage that? How do you deal with that if there's a breakdown with the energetics?
Good question. So if and it will depend on the scenario, but I will ask the team to stop and do a prayer, maybe chant some ohms and clear the room, clear the energetics of the room, or step up the invitation of safety, congruency, of trust, especially things like that come up when we're doing those deep dive transformation exercises, right? Because not everyone wants to see what's there inside of them. Like they might be afraid of that. And that's when things can get a little bit jiggity. So I try to preemptively have my team be a space for that before we get to those meatier topics, those more potentially painful, ouchy topics for us to just be with and breathe into and heal. And then sometimes I'll be in the middle of class. And if I notice that the energetics are getting funky, I'll actually pause class and I'll say, you know what? I'm feeling a shift in the room, in the energetics of the space that I think we could clean up. Why don't we pause and do a little prayer and let me do a group healing for you? Let's get the energy back on track. And then I just take 3 to 10 minutes and I fix it and get things bright and shiny again. But I'm transparent with them about it. I'm not trying to hide it and pretend to be this perfect speaker. I'd rather have that authenticity and say, something just shifted in the space and I just want to call it out and let's fix it. How's that? And then do something that would change it.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Just be open about it and address it and do something about it, like right there and then. I like that. I like how you do that. Very cool. Very cool. To go ahead.
I was going to say another thing is I bring in kinesthetics kinesthetic types of exercises too. So if I see that they've been sitting and I can see their restlessness or them getting feeling a little slouchy, it's like, okay, let's change the dynamics of the space. Let's do some sort of kinesthetic exercise or space awareness exercise or do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. I don't know, something to get their bodies engaged. So it's not just their mind, but getting all of them participating, like every particle of their being participating with whatever we're doing.
Excellent. Yeah. I like that. Energetic management, state management. Very cool. And Tiffany, you mentioned earlier that a way that our audience can reach you is to go to tiffany15.com to book in a 15-minute consult with you. Can you let us just tell us a little bit more about your resources or what's the best way for people to go learn more about what you do?
Highly Perceptive People Academy.com will lead you to some free goodies, such as my Money Magnet program, which has 20 minutes of prosperity healings over 20 days. You can go there, check out all my various freebie stuff, right? At highlyperceptivepeopleacademy.com. And if you want that one-on-one with me, go to Tiffany15, so for 15 minutes.com. And I can have that connection with you and we can see how I can best serve and support you. And if we're a good fit to explore beyond that. And either way, you'll walk away feeling more clarity and lightness and happy to have a new person in your corner.
Awesome. Well, Tiffany, this interview has definitely been unique and and eye opening and but very valuable. Like the energetics are all the things it's in my mind. It's the container. It's everything that's in between the logistics and what's being said and what's being taught. All of this. It's like, how does the room feel? How do people feel? What state are people in? Such a critical component of an overall experience of the event. I remember hearing, I don't know where it came from, but the saying that people don't remember what you tell them; they remember how they were left feeling. And I just keep thinking of that as you were talking about this. All the things that you do is that you're really managing how people are experiencing your event beyond what's being taught, and that's really important, really valuable. Thank you for sharing all your expertise with us today.
You're welcome. Like healing starts the moment they register. Insights begin immediately. And the more open and receptive they are, the more they're going to get out of it before, during, and after. I'm a giver. I love giving. And the universe is so awesome with giving back to me that I equally get to cultivate my receiving muscles as well as my giving ones.
Outstanding. So cool, Tiffany. As we wrap up our interview here, any closing comments you have for our audience?
Don't be afraid to be authentic. You don't have to hide your blemishes. You don't have to put on a perfect show of what you think they need and want from you as a facilitator, as an event leader, as a coach, as a whatever title you give yourself. I think people crave more so than even ever before that authentic, congruent, real, and honest person that knows they're not perfect and is willing to keep working at it. And they've got tools and they're going to help you work at it too if you're so inclined. And so being that authentic person and then also getting even clearer with your intentions for the program, such as a few of the ones that I mentioned already.
Mm,
Yeah. I'm all about the energy.
love it.
That's what lights me up.
Yeah, and you embody it. You embody it. You have great energy. Thank you for bringing your vibrant self to this show.
Thank you. I think embodying it is important, and that's why I have an embodiment program. It's my mentor program to help other people embody what whatever it is that they're focused on in life. Like, I customize it for them. So, embodying, congruency, clarity, those are all my favorite words.
Noted. Awesome, Tiffany. It's been a pleasure having you as a guest on our show today. And for our listeners tuning in, if you found value from today's episode, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We release an episode on a weekly basis. And also, if you found value from Tiffany's message, share it with someone. Share this episode with someone who you think might resonate with her message. And definitely go check out Tiffany's website. And if you feel called, go to her booking page, tiffany15.com, and book a 15-minute consult with Tiffany. Tiffany, again, thank you for being a guest on our show. It's been a super pleasure, and I appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
Thank you.